Good morning. I don't know if this camera's picking it up because I don't see it in the forward-facing camera, but there is a beautiful rose, pink, orange sun that looks just like cover art from some modern retro synthwave band or something. And I don't know if this camera's picking it up or not, but I rushed up here on top of the hill just so we could get a glimpse at it. I really wish that the camera would pick it up, but I don't think it is. But we're gonna, hopefully it can. But man, it's one of the most gorgeous suns I've ever seen. There's striations across it. It's like the dark rose at the bottom, and then as it goes up, it becomes a light peach and an orange. And there's so much cloud in front of it that I can look at it directly and it doesn't hurt my eyes. It's just this beautiful spot in the sky. This is probably the prettiest sunrise I've ever seen in my life, especially since the light hurts my eyes so badly. I'm just really thankful I got to see this. So it looks like when my face comes into view, it sort of blurs out the background. But anyway, I'm thankful that I saw that. I saw it from way over yonder, and I walked about 15 minutes to get here just to take some pictures and hopefully capture that on video. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, before we leave this wonderful, let's see if we can get it in frame again, this pretty sunrise back there. There we go. It's right over there. I still only have 5 people saying they want to come to my camping trip. Just 5 people, which is kind of surprising because earlier this summer, I had like 20 people say that they were interested. Well, where are those 20 people? Guys, come on. I've sent out my usual text messages and emails reminding people of my event. And only got 5 people saying that they want to come so far. So, again, you have the rest of this month, the month of September, to let me know that you're coming. And in general, I don't like late additions, so my cutoff point is whoever lets me know by the end of September. So you've still got another 3.5 weeks. Wait, 3? No, 3.5? 3. About 3 weeks. You still have 3 weeks to let me know you're coming. And I hope that we have more than 5 people. Like, I'm still going to have the camping trip, even if it's only 5 people. But come on, guys. I had more buzz, more interest in my camping trip this year than I did last year. So where are all you guys at that say you wanted to come to my trip? You got to let me know. You got to reach out. But anyway, we're not going to talk about heavy stuff today, really. It's going to keep it more shallow. I want to remind you guys, the weather is getting cooler. Fall is here. It's an election year. And what do we have coming up? We have coming up talking to our friends and family. We're going to be spending more time indoors. There's going to be Thanksgiving. There's going to be Christmas. There's going to be talk about the election. It's a big election year. So use intelligently the words that you have learned from my channel, the words that you have learned from other sensible content creators, such as Jason Kuna, the No White Guilt guy, the author of the Go Free method that I like a lot. The terms in, well, we're going to wait because there's a loud car coming, so give me just a second. Okay, there it goes. All right. It was somebody in a red sports car, just a buzzing. All right. Anyway, you know that I like the Go Free method, using the terms anti-white, anti-whiteism, white erasure. Those are the big 3 that I use all the time with people around me in my life. They work. Those terms work. People just get them. And you know what? It doesn't push the buttons in people's heads like Nazi talking points or whatever they've been conditioned by the lion-ass anti-white media and their anti-white education to think is a no-no word. Those words don't trip those mental landmines in people I talk to. It's very helpful. Use that. Also, something that we can take a page from the academic agent. Being a sensible centrist. It is important when talking to regular folk around you, friends, family, coworkers, etc., to not sound like a radical or an extremist, even if you are. Like, by any metric, I assume I could be considered a radical. I don't think I'm an extremist because I don't want extremist things, right? I don't want, I don't advocate for extreme action like terrorism and death camps and shit like that. Like, that's an extremist. A radical means, quite literally, away from the cluster, right? The things that we want are away from the cluster now. So we know that on a technical level, anybody who wants change to this rotten system we live in is technically some kind of radical. But that's not what that word means to normal people. Normal people sort of equivocate radicalist or radical and extremist. And you really don't want to come off like those things. You want to come off as someone normal, likable, moral, and sensible. And you don't do that by sounding like Alex Jones. You don't do that by sounding like David Duke. And there's a car coming. Give me just a second. All right, there it goes. Oh, can we see the sun? You can just barely see the sun poking through back here. I don't know if it'll catch it if I'm on camera or not. But anyway, I really wish my camera would have captured that sun better. Maybe it does when I look at this in post. I don't know. But we're going to take a left and go up into the wealthy people neighborhood here. So you don't influence regular people by making them think that you're a radical or a crackpot. Like I said, no Alex Jones, no David Duke. You don't want to sound like some crazy hater that's like, we got to get rid of the, fill in the racial slur. We gotta kill them immigrants. We gotta set up machine guns at the border. Like, that kind of talk, it rubs normal people the wrong way, and it limits your ability to influence them in any way. So what do I mean about sounding like a sensible centrist? You might be as far right as possible, right? Like, when you look at where I am on the political compass, I'm a little bit in the lower right quadrant, but still kind of towards the middle, right? If you look at my economic beliefs, they're considerably more far right. If you look at the way I would handle power and the way that I would structure a functional state, I'm a little higher up on the authoritarian thing, but not by much, just a little bit. So around that middle point of the political compass is where people's minds comfortably can talk about things. So if you really do want there to be an absolute moratorium on all immigration and the immigrants we have to be sent back home, whether they're here legally or otherwise, and you also want the most harshest penalties imaginable under law for every single illegal immigrant, including public execution, you have to find a way to couch that doesn't make you sound like a crazy person. So the way that you can talk about that is, I think that we've had enough immigration because we've been lied to, clearly, by the media and by politicians and by corporations. They say to us that mass immigration is good for the economy, but it's really not. It's good for this magic show that lets the government keep power and this fiat currency stuff stay afloat by letting the rich get richer. And this is not only bad for us here in America, it's bad the world over because of how this system works. So you can say something like that doesn't make you sound like a radical or an extremist to the eyes or in the ears of a normie. Like if you're talking to a bunch of people at Thanksgiving, you can say, I really don't like how these evil people in government and corporations are abusing these immigrant people just to get at the native heritage Americans. You can even use terms like, that's a good place to drop white erasure. It's a good place to drop anti-white oligarchs that control mass immigration. When you say things like that, such as, I think it's evil what's being done to us. It's bad for us white people here in white countries, or here in America, or here in my state of Maine or Vermont, or wherever your white state is. It's bad what's being done to the whites, and it's abusive and manipulative to the non-whites they're shipping in from around the world. These anti-white oligarchs, these evil scumbags, they're perpetrating white erasure to make us all poorer and to make us all slaves to this ugly machine. I think that's wrong and it needs to stop. And the only person I can think of that I can vote for that might do anything towards stopping some of this would be Donald Trump this year. That's why I'm going to vote for him. Like, when you say things tepidly, like you're taking a very sensible, centrist position, and that you care about the well-being of your country, your people, and tacitly the well-being of everyone everywhere, when you couch it like that to a regular person, they'll hear what you have to say. They'll hear it. But if in that same conversation, like let's say you're grilling out, it's the last time you're going to go to the lake with your family and grill for the summer, it's early fall, or you're at a work function, right, or a church function, and you're around these same normal people, and you say something extreme like, well, in a right and just world, every single one of these illegal immigrants' heads would be on a fucking spike, and we line the border with the bloody heads of these illegal immigrants. That'll send the right message. Whether or not that is a justified and moral action, which I believe it is both, Joe T. Normie is not going to hear anything you have to say once you let that fly. He's just not. He's not going to listen to you. He's going to think you're a crazy person, you are a psycho, you have a bloody mind, that you're a terrorist, and all of those mean pathogens that the anti-white media and the anti-white education system has put in his mind his whole life will trigger. And he will say, you are a villain, I'm not going to listen to you, I think you're a bad person when you talk like that. Even if the sentiments and the energy of those statements is the same and comes from the same place, you have to know how to talk to regular people, people in your family, people that are your friends. This is what I've practiced the most with the people in my life, because they're not, like I said, they're not like shrieking troons, they're not blue-haired shitlibs, they're not like that. Like, the people around here are not like that, but they are disengaged. They are very tepid, very normal, very boring. They don't want to think about the extremes of culture and life and how dark or fucked everything is. They just don't want to hear any of that, because it's not fucked around here. Magically, things are still very good around here, despite the decay being evident in some places. It's still really nice here. It's still very pristine where I live. And people don't want to hear that hangs in the balance, that it's all going to be taken from them, or that, I don't know, they don't want to feel like they're in danger, and they don't want to feel like they're the bad guys. And when you talk in ways that are codified in their minds, that when you use behaviors and language that the anti-white narrative has codified as villain talk or villain mannerisms, they will start rejecting you personally on a personal level, and the things you say to them won't be able to influence them positively. So that's what I wanted to share with you today as we get closer to holiday times and voting season. Remember to sound sensible and approachable and full of love and compassion if you care about influencing people around you. And most of us probably do. So that's my advice for how to speak about the ugly, dark, horrible things going on, and how to talk about socio-political issues that affect us, like mass migration, price controls, all this shit that affects us, right? Talk about it in a way that shows you have a people. Call us whites, call us Europeans, call us Heritage Americans or Heritage English or whatever you want to call it, right? Say something that shows you love your people, but that you also don't hate others, if you are trying to influence a normie mixed group of people, especially churchies. And couch it in the way that what is being done is evil and wrong. Not that it's against the law, because that doesn't matter to most people, remember? Because feelings trump facts for 99% of people. So don't come at it from a factual, legal, autistic argument. As much as you and I internet autists, love, rules and factoids, and we think that's what should matter most. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It doesn't. So appeal to people's emotions. Talk about things in a way that you care, that you want what is right, what is just, and you are sick and tired of evil being done to you, to your people, and to every people. You're sick of it, and you want it to stop. And that's why you care about stopping anti-whiteism. That's why you care about ending this ugly white erasure via mass migration and all of the other mind cancer pumped into us, like transgenderism, hypersexuality, homosexuality, the atomization of people, destruction of God and family. All of that stuff is white erasure. It damages us. It's rendering us generationless. It's ugly. It's wrong. It's evil. It shouldn't be done to any people. And you should hate it most because it's being done to your people. And that's how you should phrase it. Because when you talk that way, it lands with people. I've experimented with this. I know. I've done it. You should do it too. It works. Anyway, so I believe that's it. That's all I wanted to say today. Unfortunately, the sun is obfuscated by a bunch of clouds now, but we'll try to get a good look at it again down here and see if we can capture it. But anyway, get in touch with me, email, social media, leave me a comment if you have to that says you're interested in my camping trip, and some way to contact you that's not just a YouTube comment. Tell me where to email you, tell me what number to text or whatever, and I'll try to get a hold of you and vet you if you want to come to my camping trip for the first time. those of you that have already been to my events, there's a bunch of you whom I've messaged and I haven't heard anything back yet. You got to let me know by the end of September, guys. Because right now there's only 5 people that have shown definite interest and confirmed with me. Just 5 out of the like 20 of you earlier this summer that said you definitely wanted to come. So get with me, let me know what's up, and let's fill those spots. Okay, guys? All right. Well, here we are. We're gonna stop at the. I forget exactly what that is, but I think that belongs to someone who owns most of the land here. I think that's owned by the father of the guy who comes here to fly the little tiny planes sometimes. But anyway, I hope you can see that sun. It looks so cool. I don't know if it's going to show up or not on this camera, but I hope it does. And I don't know if Chris and I are going to stream, but there's definitely not an Empire of Lies this week. But we might stream on Thursday just to get back into the swing of things. But he's going to be on vacation for another 2 weeks. So probably not a Empire of Lies this Thursday. But we'll definitely, you know, like always, Discord at Dragons next Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. London. So God bless everybody. Have a great week. Bye-bye.